So we shall see if Black can continue the dominant performance. Miracle will once again have first pick, but not on a map where composition is everything, where I feel like Battlefield of Eternity was their best opportunity. They had a good comp, couldn't make it work. So someone's probably finishing up some last-minute settings as we get everyone into the lobby. There we go. Tomb of the Spider Queen will be our second battleground. And we'll see how this is going to be played by Miracle. Specifically, I want to keep an eye on their drafts, their approach. They are the underdog.
Here we go. And likely, we'll see Tassadar Vala bend again. But this time it's... Okay, Miracle's going to open up because they have the first pick.
Pretty sure Sniper's not happy about that one.
Vala is open. Is Miracle going to go their own way with Vala again? Yes.
Yep. Okay. This is the Miracle way since week 1 of HGC. They were the first team to try this glass cannon sort of approach.
And more than any other teams also, even without Tassadar. Now the question is Black. Gul'dan. Oh, this is a smart ban. They banned Gul'dan intentionally because if they take Vala, the Black can just take Gul'dan Aria, which would be a perfect response. So this all works out.
Yep. But the Nazebo you were talking about gets picked up in the first rotation for Black. As a result, they have 2 forms of damage, the same damage that we saw last game. And now we'll see the Zarya Ariel, I imagine, for the Trinity on the side of Miracle. Zarya's wave clear is insanely good, and Ariel obviously is the best support to pair with Vala. In a meta where Vala is, I believe, second highest banned in this tournament, it's
part 2 for sure. Yes.
It's still Crazy Moving's most played hero at 13 games played. Make it 14 with this game, so he has a lot of experience. As you were mentioning, they really have tried to force this composition to work. A bit concerning, they're not so quick to lock in after the Nazebo Falstad pick the obvious choices of Zarya and Ariel. Let's see if they have something else in mind for this one. Muradin. So maybe we don't see the Zarya at all. Could be they're looking towards the Tyrael pick, which is something that Black may ban, even with Muradin already on the board here. Yep. Otherwise, this is a nice solid draft. You know, you don't really have any way to lock out a specific type of the heal, the tank, the support, the damage. Vala's already locked in, so.
And Tyrael, and 1 more damage, even Leeming would fit pretty nicely with that burst damage and constant auto attack damage from Vala. And of course, Hakana Muradin looks so much better than before, comparing to the first 5 weeks of phase number 1. And MVP Black on their ban phase here. They really have to limit. Either they will ban a mage.
I mean, they could also.
They have Nazebo themselves already.
I was just saying, they could also just ban a melee like Ragnaros. The Zarya ban was something they could have considered, but it just feels like if they were going to run the Ariel, Vala, Zarya, then they would have picked it already. So I think that's a little bit suspicious to Black, so they avoid it. This Malfurion ban is the kind of all-around ban. It's not weak, but it's not particularly strong. You just remove the best support in the game from MVP Black, since you've already taken the best support that goes with Vala. Meriday will be happy to play Kharazim again for his 12th game if he picks it for this map, and I think it's almost absolutely going to be his hero pick. Just shown on camera here, we're looking really for his hero pick. Will they run the ETC? Obviously, ETC's best map. The short distance between lanes, how quickly he can rotate, and look for power slides, look for picks. They have Nazebo as well for the zombie wall. Zeratul.
Are they going
wow, it's just the identical comp?
Same draft with Tyrael coming in. Seems
they could.
Yeah, it works. I mean, it will protect Nazebo Falstad and also take away another protection on Vala.
Okay, ETC on their side. I was going to say, if Vala can't hit what's invincible, so he can't build hope, I don't know.
So ETC, with ETC, more likely going to be season marksman Falstad coming in to have the Rockstar trait helping it with the attack speed.
That's probably the case, yeah. And this time, obviously, he's able to soak all 3 lanes to get Seasoned Marksman all game long, whereas in the last time, you know, he was spending a lot of time in lane, but he wasn't able to get the maximum value of minion kills and takedowns. So, Tyrael is still a possibility here for Miracle to keep Vala alive. The extra shields he provides, and then, of course, later on the Sanctification. Alternatively, I was going to say the Zarya comes in, but they're going to take both.
All
so they go all in.
All in Vala here.
Seen it before. Miracle has very low success rate with this composition. They probably like maybe like 2 out of 5 games they make it work. Even against some of the weaker teams, they've dropped maps trying to make this work. Usually on Infernal Shrines is the map they've played it the most on.
Well, now they have Hope, they have Barriers, and Sync and Shield available on Vala. So I wonder how they're going to do the lanes here, though. So Murden solo, maybe Tyrael solo here?
I think you put Tyrael solo. Murden is the rotator between mid and bot. Tyrael stays on the top lane, and then you have Valariel and Zarya.
On the bottom lane.
Valariel, yeah.
And Lucio to finish up.
Okay.
Okay, for fast rotations, even faster with ETC, that's going to be a lot of pressure going on from the beginning of the game.
Lucio is such a mana efficient hero too. You don't really have to worry about you know, returning home to Hearth. So he's kind of always on the map. He's omnipresent, if you will. Helps the rotations, can rotate himself. Good for CC. But guys, game number 2 between both MVP teams, Miracle versus Black. Tell your friends, this is the 4th time ever this has happened. Black is up 2-1. They want to make it a 3-1 as we go into our second map, Tomb of the Spider Queen. In blue, it's MVP Miracle Hunkono on Murid and Dami on Tyrael. Sniper on Zarya. Crazy moving on Vala and Darvish on Ariel.
And in red, MVP Black. Sake on Falstad, Reset on Nazebo, Tust on ETC, Kyocha on Zeratul, and Neride on Lucio.
Okay, it is Season Marksman coming out. Grenade here for Zarya. No surprise. And the Q build for Hunkono. Misses that Q though, right after I called him out, sorry. Just had to do it. Now, those Tists positioning, obviously, he's going to be the one that dominates the early game very likely. There's already a zombie wall on the Sniper, but no follow-up. Tist is looking for it. Well, they're just going to disengage.
Also, ECC going for the Prog Rock quest. It's going to take some time, but this is a fast map. You can just rotate up and down, take the globes to finish the quest.
Yep.
It will also provide some healings after, once the quest is finished.
So they're leaving Sake once more in the solo lane against Tyrael, as the 4-man rotation ends up being top and mid right now. A faster clear so far for Black though. Miracle's kind of having to clean up the mess. See Crazy Moving getting a little bit aggressive here, unable to find anything. Even a rotation down from Tist to perhaps get a pick on the Dami. You have to respect how much damage Falstack can put off even in the early game. Meride switches tracks here, is getting all speed boosty. Unfortunately, that zombie wall does not hit. A Stormbolt will. Again, no follow-up damage.
But one more stack for Hunkono.
Yep, just looking just for the stacks. Ariel does have really good wave clear, which is going to help Miracle. I feel like in theory, Miracle should have the better wave clear in the stronger early game as long as they don't get picked.
I like these rotations coming out from Miracle. They know that MVP Black has very strong gank potential, so they're moving in all together. Just have Dami as a solo lane on bottom, which makes Tist chops a lot harder than it should have been.
Yeah, they're always just rotating wherever Tist is not. You know, wherever they know Tist is, they're going to go the other lane. Reset up here. Just getting the last parts of that. Last exchange as he heads back up. Tist is still just kind of hanging out, hoping that Miracle comes in for this next wave. And they will eventually have to, but they're going to poke here from the top. Tist coming in, gets detainment striked immediately. They knew exactly which angle was going to come from. Honkono with really good position here. I love this. They get the kill onto reset. That was well done. And zoning Tist out, making it so it wasn't even reasonable for him to power slide. And they find reset. And the target selection there from everybody, really well done. Everyone's just immediately on the same page. You go for the focus fire.
Yeah, great team fight coming out from Dami. He just joined the fight knowing that it was going to happen before Falstad can come up, man. He really made the body block work in that. So, great start for MVP Miracle, of course. Yeah.
It's just one tiny step, though, in a map that's going to go very long, most likely, barring any crazy leads. And the Zebo is going to be very happy with the slow start. They do get enough for a turn-in now, which is one gem off. They should be able to get it in just a second. That one gem actually kind of significant in this case. Okay, they have enough now. And so does Black. It's going to be tougher for them to turn in, though. They're carrying more. Do control this satchel for now. The top looks like it will be a turn-in. We don't have a shot of it, so I guess Lucio did interrupt. Honkono's got the 3. That's just Mary. They continue to interrupt.
That's all they need. They need 3 exactly. And both teams trying to cancel those challenges.
Meride is super low. Honkono wanted to get that Stormbolt for the kill. Just grabs one on the Tist instead. His accuracy's been pretty good. He missed the first one. And then seems to be quite motivated to never miss again. So this is obviously still a better situation for Miracle because they have the lead. In turn-ins, they only need 3 in, so anyone on the team, with the exception of Crazy Moving and Darvish, can turn in. So 3 of the 5 members have enough for that insert.
We got that harass coming out from Mary Date. It's 4v1.
Dude, it's risky, though.
But you can wall ride out of there.
It just feels like it's worth it if they get a turn in the bot. But if they don't, it doesn't feel worth it. Dami is zoned out here. Sake probably could have committed there for the aggression, but they didn't know how far away Honkono was.
Wow, look at this tension from both teams. They're making everything safe and sound. And first turn-in going to Miracle, though.
This is expected, considering how much pressure was put on Black with their early turn-in. And let's see exactly how Black sets up for this. Let's see if they want to get a pick beforehand. Looks like that's what they wanted, but as you were mentioning, the safe kind of multi-rotations we're seeing from Miracle, where they all stay together, have been working very well for them. It's tough to get a pick. Only Dombi's been vulnerable because he's the one who's not with the rest of the pack.
Yeah, but he has been canceling at the right time. And Sake holding 27. If Sake turned in, that was a summon for sure. And here's a big power slide, but look at that heal coming from Darvish. He's Crazy Moving, getting some damage from Zeratul, but that's not enough. Look at another heal coming in. Zeratul's the one that's going to go down.
I'm just sitting there. Crown is on her head, and more heals over and over and over again. Honkono just going to self-heal. Reset is likely to go down here. One more auto. Tist commits to the power slide. He saves Reset, but will he save himself? I don't think so. Honkono looks for the Stormbolt here. Doesn't even need it. He's going to save his mana. Probably could have gotten an extra stack there. Must have been on cooldown, but 4 kills to 0 now. And this map is working very well for MVP Miracle.
Indeed, MVP Miracle just taking their dominant power with Crazy Moving. Crazy Moving's positioning and how he's reacting to Zeratul's backline has been just... He has his trust on Darvish, and knowing that if he does damage, he knows that heals are going to come in, and he's just been offensive as possible.
Sniper here is, forced out by the zombie donut. Dami with the save. Kocha commits to the Vorpal, but still doesn't get the pick. I think probably one auto attack from getting it. Good coordination, good rotations here from Miracle. You know, this is the map choice of Black. Perhaps they thought that Miracle would be able to rotate around as well as them, especially if they had an ETC draft like this. But they have really been on point with the disengages and even the saves we are seeing. And when things go hard engagey for Black, you know, when they actually commit to the fight, they've been unsuccessful so far to get the pick on Davala with all the heals that come out. Zarya kind of staggering her shields with the Ariel heals. By the time the Zarya shield expires, Ariel has another heal, and vice versa. So it's been really well done. Black will have 10 in just a moment. And Sake did steal the bot camp, but it is cleared. We're going to get to another even game here where Black is looking for a turn-in to even things up. We're very close, though, to a back-to-back turn-in for Miracle. They have one gem away from having enough. Sake is super low and will get picked. And this game is very one-sided so far. This is before 10, mind you.
And also Sake was holding a lot. Before, what I remember was 27. It could have been more by that time. But losing all that gems on the ground will be big for sure. And also Dami, this is his second HGC career on Tyrio. And just knowing that is incredible. His Tyrio play so far, 8 minutes in, has been almost perfect.
Ooh, that was a really nice
one.
void, but it's not enough to save himself. The rest of the team will get out, and it will be a turn-in actually for Black during the big engage there. That was huge because Miracle Crazy Moving had a turn-in with 6 gems when they needed 7. Had they had a back-to-back turn-in with this pick, it would have been massive, massive, massive. Remember, they also have an insane amount of wave clear. As you can see here, even dealing with the Web Weavers with that pick is so easy for them. This is really going to be a game I feel Black has to win in the late game with Nazebo. Because right now they are having a ton of trouble.
That's true. And also Miracle's power and their safety protection goes even better on Vala late game. So I think they also have a very good chance of just snowballing the lead and finishing the game before Nazebo gets way too strong, or even after. Vala will continue to have that auto attack power with her W build.
So Ariel rotating in a bit late here, taking the safe path around the backside. Once she gets here, this should be a fairly easy cleanup. No Fort's going to go down. For every Miracle, they've already taken 2 themselves. And they've got another for a turn in here. All they need is 1. Black obviously wants to contest this, but if they lose all their gems trying, it won't be worth it. Just want to try to delay it as long as possible. Using Nazebo as poke is probably the best way. He's sitting in lane trying to soak right now, though. They can't stop all. Darvish has the 1, and they will get the turn in here. Going into their next Web Weaver push. 6 kills to 0 right now. And this push should be more powerful than Black's last with the comp that Miracle has.
Sake seems to be having a little bit of trouble dealing with Dami's Tyrio, especially in the bottom lane. He was a little bit late, and whenever he joined the fight, he was already a little bit low on HP. We couldn't really see the fight on the bottom lane, but it seemed like he was having some trouble against Dami. Compared to game number 1, Sake made almost perfect rotations with Falstad.
I wonder how many stacks actually Sake has right now, because that's something that it can be a power spike later on for them as well, because he's getting so many stacks. He's been sitting in lane a lot. We'll see this commitment to the fight. See a heroic for heroic Aegis versus the sound barrier. Nice defensive, not gust, but flight from Sake, as Gust already used there in that engage. So they save the top fort, but they lose some of their keep walls. The bigger problem is the EXP deficit. They need to make sure that they don't lose keeps going forward so that they can not deal with the catapult pressure and kind of stall this game out. They have enough gems for a turn-in. They have good poke. They need to make sure that Miracle does not get another back-to-back turn-in. Now, that may seal their fate because they'll definitely lose a keep off of that.
Yeah, and this is their chance to come back with the same talent when they have enough, exactly enough for a turn-in. They know they will actually call Miracle to cancel those channelings. So using that as a taunt, they can force that into a team fight.
Okay, there's a small window. Prevent the turn-in of 10 here on Dami. Whole matchup between Kyocha and Dami. Feels familiar.
Meanwhile, they turned everything on top.
Okay, here we go. This is going to be a really big moment for MVP Black. They need to get several kills here, you have to imagine. So far, they're unable to do so. Sniper pushes them away. They have Mosh Pit available. Something they may use to try to hard engage. They're just going to back away and try to soak more. Just to make sure that this turn-in doesn't happen. Doesn't matter how they do that. There's a lot of different ways, but if the turn doesn't happen, they can prevent that for another minute or so. That's a really big win for Black.
Oh, now Miracle has enough. I don't know how. That will be exactly enough for the call. There we go. Web Weaver's going again.
They failed to prevent this turn-in. If they fail to defend a keep here...
Kyota was right above. I don't think he noticed Tyrael coming up, or they just might have given up because Miracle did hit 60 by that time.
Everyone was so focused on the big collapsing aggression where Black had to retreat because Kyota was away there, and so I suppose it just went unnoticed. A very sneaky move by Dami here. But this is so important that they save a keep. If they lose a keep here, it's going to be so much harder for them to last this game out. Because the catapult pressure is going to be on them non-stop because there's more and more Web Weaver turn-ins. The boss becomes an issue. Luckily for them, the boss lane is the one they have a fort in, so that's not going to be the keep they're even worried about right now. That's just going to be a keep save almost for sure. See them doing as much as they can here. Here's a Holy Ground onto Tist. Power slides away. Gets stunned here right now. They need to save. Meride comes in for the speed boost. Nice boot, but another Holy Ground comes in. This time with the Detainment Strike, and Sake is already there with the Gust. And it looks like they should be able to save all their keeps here. This last one, we were very, very low. Sound barrier used. They just want to buy a little bit more time. Not even going to take really any of the keep ammo away. They get the healing well, which is a small bonus. Or they save their keeps. That's so important. That was the thing they were most worried about. They also caught up in EXP a little bit because they were getting triple soaked there.
It's beautiful protection coming out from all the teammates. They really trust in each other, and just saving each other seemed beautiful at the moment.
Meride especially. Double Holy Grounds. Still able to save Tist.
Also Tist trying to save Meride on the other side.
Yeah, that's right.
Just beautiful plays coming out. I love those safety plays. And all they have to do is stall time, take down those Web Weavers. Now they can have the chance to turn it in. They have 97 available. But can they do it? And they're going for the camp here.
With how comeback mechanics work in Heroes, there's so many more forts for them to take. They can catch up at EXP and win a longer game because the scaling just goes in their favor. It absolutely will. With Falstad getting more damage, Nazebo going to have that big spike at 20, and obviously his tankiness is going to really become more and more of an issue in the Supreme late game. We're talking 20 minutes plus. Dami going in here looking for another Holy Ground, unfortunately unsuccessful.
And Falstad tries to go for turn in, and Nakona already spots both teams on fire here. They're on top of things.
Feels like any other scrim block. I hope for them. A lot on the line here in terms of pride. Okay, look at this engage potential. They have the Void coming down. Where's the follow-up? What's it going to be? They're trying to get a position. Already they get the kill on the Sniper. Here's the Mosh. It's a double Mosh. Aegis comes up here. Will it save Crazy Moving? Looks like the answer is no.
Sanctification is there, but they already lost 2 members of themselves, and Darvish seems to be the next target. Great ice block to cancel some damage on reset.
Look at how much damage Nazebo puts off in this fight. Reset. Look at how much he's doing to Honkono even. Super tanky with his avatar open. This is going to be one turn in for MVP Black. They're going to come over here and save the keep. Saka with the flight back. And they should be able to get multiple forts off of this at this stage of the game. They have enough for a second turn in after that. Dami does get away with some fancy Aldruin's footwork there, trying to help delay this turn in so the rest of his team can respawn to defend.
And Prog Rock is finished, so they will have even more heals. And great cutoff on Zarya, because the Expulsion Zone was a threat to Mosh for ETC. And ETC, knowing that Zarya is gone, just pop that Mosh right after hitting 2 targets. And without Zarya's Expulsion Zone, of course they have some other CCs, but it was a lot more tougher for them to cut off Mosh.
I would agree. Caesar Marksman is also done, so a ton of extra damage coming out from Sake as this Web Weaver push continues. They actually are unable to get that much to the fort yet, but they're just looking to soak first. They kind of split off. They're not really heavily committing to one fort or the other. They're kind of doing half and half as Sake just still sits in the bot lane, getting stronger and stronger, getting extra EXP. They just want to maximize this in terms of EXP more than structural damage. Need to be careful with this, though, because Miracle has been insanely coordinated on this second map here. We looked for a pick. Tist goes for the retreat. Honkono is actually very, very low. They may just turn on him here. Gargantuan comes up, but the Gust comes down for the disengage. Sound Barrier misses Tist. Looks like they will be fine regardless. They only get the 1 fort. Second fort goes, or they only push for the 1 fort. The second one goes down in the bot lane. But they've caught up in EXP. They didn't get the top fort, but they may actually try to force it now. They have Void, they have Mosh, and they're actually diving onto Honkono.
Honkono also has Avatar available, so it is not the worst situation for himself. And also Dami, right next to him.
Look at Reset's damage, though. Oh my god. So much damage. The Zebo is so scary. Really starting to feel like this hero is top tier, G-Clef. We've been talking about it since day one. But
see the HP bar on Twist and Reset. They're about the same.
Yeah. And Sake is just sitting here getting more and more stacks. This is a late game composition. Does Sake have flight? It's a bit scary for him here. Okay, I thought he was actually in the bot lane for a second there. He has enough for a turn almost all on his own. 55. Tist is going to be the next one to go ahead and channel. Actually, Kyocha's looking for this. Oh, so close. So close.
Does not get it.
And Miracle's about to have 20. They delayed this for just long enough.
And Twist also has 27 of them himself. As Sake is great job pressuring the entire back lane. Looks like this flight maybe...
It's too late. It's too late to save Tist. That's 27 gems down the drain. Kyocha's unable to get the turn in again. Sniper just denying him consistently. That was the window of time they wanted with 20. Epic Mount, if they had it, definitely would have saved Tist there. But
for sure.
Alas, not to be. 45 seconds until he comes back up. And Miracle's just going to take the boss here. Sake does have a really strong push in the bot lane, and they will get Web Weavers. Actually, Meride doesn't quite have enough. We should still be able to get Web Weavers here. They won't be able to get Web Weavers and contest the boss. And Honkono is doing a good job with delaying this. Let's see, are they going to actually contest the boss? It looks like they want to. Sake can fly up. He has Gust. Aegis really well placed here. Can they get the finishing blow, though? Crazy Movement gets healed like crazy!
My goodness, how did he survive that right there? Gust comes in and Reset is the one that's very low. Dami with the Nexus Blades cannot really save himself.
Oh man, well you can see how much extra damage Reset gets post 20 though. It will get the turn in here. It's going to help them defend the boss. Reset is going to do a lot on his own here against the boss. Look at how quickly this is burning down. But this is the power of a composition that has so much protection for the Bala. You know, the Aegis putting him at what, like 2% health, he still survived. This boss does nothing comparatively. But the only strong web rear push is the bot lane, where Sake has been pressuring all game long. And we'll see how Black wants to approach this. 25 seconds until Tyrael is up. And already Miracle's in position to deny this important web weaver, the one that's really going to start threatening the keep wall.
So
Here comes the invade, though.
And Black's going to slowly approach this bottom lane, as Honkono is on the other side.
It's going to hard to get out. Ooh. I don't know where he's going, but that's not going to be where he wants to be if he wants to delay this Weber from hitting the keep.
Look at that damage coming out from Spiders alone. Just one skill shot.
Okay. Honkono needs to get back over here. Here it comes.
He's got to be careful when he positions himself into the danger zone.
Sake in a dangerous spot there for just a moment. Tist gets stunned here. There's the Gust to try to save him once again. He actually has to bolt out. Had to lock that one in. It's on a long cooldown now, but they save the keep. The mid and top web weavers are very low. Spider damage is real though. And the tankier and tankier Reset gets, the more difficult it is to punish his positioning, tossing these out. And they only save the keep temporarily, honestly. Just come up, burn it down right afterwards. They nearly saved it and saved the others, but this is going to be a window back into this game for Black. They finally clawed up and taken a lead. It was a long time coming.
And also now they have the lead. The presence of Fawcett will be a lot stronger also because they are pushing in lane. And Miracle making that strong rotation is going to take a long time for them to catch Sake. If they actually get a kill on Sake, that will be good news. But if they just make the rotations and just not make it worth, that will be a big problem for Miracle coming up.
We completely agree, but needs to be a turn-in. Ooh, Honkono just barely gets it. Needs to be a turn-in for Miracle to help relieve the pressure, but they need a second one. They almost have enough for two. So there is a window back into this. Sake actually coming in for the epic mount Gust. Sniper is caught, actually uses Expulsion Zone, but it's not going to help him. It's the Sanctification that really saves him, and Sake needs to barrel roll away. He's super low, no one there to save him. Meride just too far away. It's going to be a 1-for-1 though, as Kyochi gets the pick on a Bala with all that isolation. The shields away from him. It's
a 1-1 trade, but I'd have to say it goes for Black with Bala is dead. Their potential, all their damage is gone for the moment. And they can't even contest for a team fight right now.
Yeah, put the crown on Sniper here. Siege Giant and Catapult dastardly duo in the bot lane is going to continue to pressure. And Reset is so much damage. even with Falstad being gone here, he's doing so much for the team. And Gocha just sitting up here trying to make sure the lane pressure's on. They're not worried about the 62 gems carried by Miracle right now because it's so hard for them to get in a position to turn in. Holy Ground is going to be the attempt here to get a pick. Not going to happen. Look at this power slide, allowing Reset to do so much damage. Expulsion Zone once more here. It's on such a low cooldown.
It's on the safety. Even the crown is on Zarya instead, since there's no Vala.
Yeah.
Still 7 seconds, and the camp is already hitting the core here.
Ooh.
Wait for it to stall the time, knowing that MVP Black is trying to buy time here.
Core's under attack. Sake is back alive. We'll rotate over to deal with this. Boss is going to be up in a few minutes, I believe, too, but Black's just going to rotate back, get their turn in. They're going to be at 57, I believe, in total. Gems, yeah, 57 of 65, so they're very close. Miracle has enough for 2 turn-ins if they get the kills, if they get a team fight win. They need to do it soon, though, because that catapult pressure is starting to wear them down.
That's right, and Kyocha, Crazy Moving has been getting that harassed so much, and Kyocha has been doing a fine job with that.
Crazy Moving is very low. He's just trying to get healed up here. Darvish doing what he can, healing him over and over again.
Yeah, without the heals or shields, I think Kyocha can one-shot. And here's Sake backdooring here onto the core. Miracle is on their way back, but in time. But that's a lot of pressure. And now Black has enough gems to turn in.
Yep. Sake has 6 of the 8 they need.
Exactly what
Abbott Mount's pretty strong, and Kyoja's going to get the last 3. No one to deny. And that's a huge push in the bot lane. That Web Weaver's going to go directly to the core, which is already damaged. The top push is going to put the second Web Weaver that's up there almost into immediate keep range. The mid one's the only one they don't have to worry about immediately, but the longer it goes on, it's going to eventually knock this down. This could just be the game-winning push for Black. They had such a tough early game, but they have swung this around now. The late game power that comes out for Reset is really showing here. Dami actually used Eldruins there. I'm not entirely sure why, but he did not have vision of the team, so he went in there to try to get a Holy Ground pick, but that meant he had no escape, and even with it, I don't know if he was going to get out of that 4-man that came down to blow him up. This means it's a 5v4 supreme late game scaling for Reset and Web Weavers to try to end this one.
That will almost be game after this keep. I think Black, with their shields, they have the power to go all the way to the core.
Ice Block being used here to avoid most of the damage. The first Rain of Vengeance totally whiffs into it. The second one is not enough. Honkono hits a great Storm Bolt. They need more than this, though. Top keep is also down, so the Web Weavers are now directly onto the core. Here comes Sake with a big flight in. They're just going to target down the core, and there's no way that MVP Miracle defends. They had the early game, but Black, with their late game composition, does take the win, and they're going to go up 2-0 in this series. 1 win away from going up 3-1 in career matches against MVP Miracle.
What a game. There were not too many direct team fights, but the pressure, the tension, the macro on their level. Of course, Miracle falling short at the end. They had more power from the beginning. That's the power of Naziba coming in MVP Black, but Sake at the end of the day, after all that